Hey everybody, I'm Joey Landreth, and I am one half of the Brothers Landreth, and we're here at Premier Guitar playing some tunes, having some conversations, and this is a song off my last solo record, Hindsight. This is called Still Drivin'. Ready? I've been out here for so long. I'm alive in color title of a Steve Earle song. There's a highway sign, come out of the heat wave blur. Talk radio on my stereo gets my mind off her. But ever since I left, I'm still driving. Been 18 hours and I'm dying. The sun's gone down and I'm lying to myself. This still hurts like hell. Oh, but as long as this road goes on forever, even though I left and there's still a chance I could go back home and get her. Take the exit to Thunderbirds off Highway 9. Get the same damn thing I did last time, but I'm missing her just like the times before. The only difference is I can't just call her anymore. Call her just to tell her I'm still driving. Been 18 hours and I'm dying. The sun's gone down and I'm lying to myself. This still hurts like hell. Oh, but as long as this road goes on forever, even though I left it, there's still a chance I could go back home and get her. If this road goes on forever, oh, if this road goes on forever, I can still go back. I'm still driving, been 18 hours and I'm dying. The sun's gone down and I'm lying to myself, 'cause this still hurts like hell. Oh, and as long as this road goes on forever, even though I left it, there's still a chance I could go back home and get her. If this road goes on forever, oh, if this road goes on forever, oh, if this road goes on forever, I could still go back.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Shadrick, and I'm here at Premier Guitar headquarters with Joey and David from the Brothers Landreth. And they share a name and some DNA, and we're going to talk about some songs. You guys going to play some songs for us today?
We are.
You're in town for a gig, and we're going to go through a bunch of gear stuff. So,
Right on.
first thing is, you got a new album out, 87.
Yes.
What's the significance behind the title?
It's my favorite number. No, 1987 is the year that I was born. And so it's the year that we became brothers. And this record, it's of pretty serious importance to us, this record coming out, and the fact that it exists. You know, we took a bit of a hiatus starting in 2016-ish.
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take. And it was kind of unsure if we were really ever going to play again.
Really?
You know, well, we weren't sure. We needed a break. We took a break. We took some time off, and it just was kind of like, you know, I think in the back of our minds we thought that we would, but it wasn't. We weren't positive. So
There wasn't a date on the calendar or
no,
anything.
it was just like we just need some time because we toured so hard, and so yeah. So coming, bringing this thing back together after I had done like 2 years solid of a solo mission, and so bringing this all back together really kind of made us start thinking about what's really important about this thing, and it's that making music together has always been really important to us as family, but also as friends. And so when we were deciding what to name the record, it was like, well, being brothers is a pretty important thing to us. So that's kind of a cool significance.
And the album title Brothers had already been taken.
Yeah, well, and
Somebody had it.
yeah, somebody had it. Taylor Swift has 1989, and we've gotten a little bit of like, what's up with that? Like, she doesn't have the patent on numbers.
Yeah.
Just that one.
So get out of here. Get out of here.
But if she would have named it 1987, that would have been another.
Then we would have been hooped.
Then we would have called the record Brothers.
Yeah, then we would have called the record
With an
that.
apostrophe. Like the possessive
That's
form,
yeah.
the noun.
Ooh. for all the grammar nerds.
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Well, the Black Keys have brothers. We'd have like
Brothers is
like this record belongs to the brothers. This brothers record.
Yeah, I like that. That's also been a really funny thing for us over the course of our career is when we named the band, we are sort of officially the Brothers Landreth, but we thought it looked cooler to be the Bros dot, And everybody knows the Mario Brothers, but it's Mario Bros dot.
Right, but they always say brothers.
And they always say brothers, so
Yeah.
we just assumed that people would clue in, but somehow we become the Bros Landreth, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm not a huge fan of it.
I say time for a band meeting. Should we change the name?
Yeah, I think Silverchair is what we're going for. Or Led Zeppelin, you might have heard
Yeah.
of it. I mean, we're not actually that fussy about it, but anyways,
think I
who
care.
cares? Why are we talking about this? Words.
Let's talk about guitars. Let's
Oh,
talk about
man.
I don't want to
sounds.
talk about guitars. No. Not
We'll
interested.
get there. But so this record has kind of been on the shelf for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
tell us about what took so long.
Man, it's like 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
We started it September of 2017, and we did it in a couple of different sessions, about 3 or 4 sort of distinct periods. We did 2 sessions of tracking, bed tracks and overdubs and vocals and stuff, and then came in for a couple of like revisions and some further overdubs and things.
I re-sang a bunch of stuff.
Re-sang a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff. Joey wasn't feeling great. Joey has a bad habit of getting sick right when we go into the studio. If you listen to our first record, Let It Lie, Joey was like deathly ill.
And we it was our first record, so we were kind of panicked about like meeting deadlines and getting it out. And if we had waited for me to sing it, it would have meant that we wouldn't have been able to get the vocals done for a month because I was leaving on tour with
Wow.
another band, and so it was like I was deathly ill. But we instead of going, let's wait until you're healthy enough to sing, we were like, nope, gotta get this record done.
It's your first record. You have an entire lifetime to put out a first record.
Now we know better. Now we know
Right.
we can
Go
take
back
a minute and go back. But
Right.
so when you listen to Let It Lie, I have a cold.
But
The acoustics in there were not that great, and the ceiling's too low, and
I slipped in the trailer.
I slipped in the trailer and hurt my
No,
wrist.
I think realistically, like that period was just really tenuous for us because we had gotten off the road. We started working on this record, but we kind of were like, what are we working towards even? Are we going to release this thing? Are we going to finish it?
Yeah.
So everything about it was really touch and go over a couple of years. We'd taken a couple of shows, did a couple of short runs, and everything was up in the air. And it wasn't until really very kind of early this year, I guess, that things really sort of calcified. And it was like, yeah, we're doing this. We're firing up the machine. We're going back to work.
So how long has this album? Have you guys been sitting with this album finished, ready for it to get
When
out?
did we get
Finished,
the masters?
finished, everything tracked and mixed about a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that tough when you want to get this music out and
Definitely. But I mean, like, I also had a record that needed to come
Yeah.
out. And so it was like, realistically, the last possible date that we could release 87 was September 27th. And so we basically, we wanted to give Hindsight, my last solo record, enough room to kind of do its thing in terms of album cycle. So it was a bit of like, you know, like creatively, yeah, it's really difficult. But from a business perspective, you know, we got to make sure that each project can get the attention that it deserves, you know. So, and we didn't want to release it too early and then not be able to get out on the road, because that's really important to be able to hit the road when something is fresh. So yeah, it was from a creative perspective, yeah, it was very difficult. It's like by the time people are hearing this music for the first time, it's like these tunes are ancient. Some of the songs on the record are like many years old.
Wow.
You know,
what's the oldest song on the record?
You Keep Letting Me Down, which I think is the last song on the record. It's like this kind of...
Not quite.
It's one of the songs on the record.
But it is on the record.
That's for sure. You'll find it if you look hard enough. It's the one that has that same title. And we started writing that together. That was one of the very first songs, if not the first song we wrote.
I'm of the mind that it was the very first song
I think you're
like,
right.
Like Together Ever, or like Together?
Like Together Ever.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And
then
it was unrecognizable.
It was
from what's
completely
on the
different.
record.
Yeah. But I really liked some of the lyric, and the chorus was terrible. Air conditioning.
Air conditioning, yes.
Air conditioning. Thank goodness. 'Cause it may not look like it, but it is a Russian steam room in here. It's a miracle we're wearing clothes. Yeah, the chorus was really weak, but the verses were strong, I felt. So I started working on it one day, just kind of on a whim. Was like, I wonder if I could give this lyric a new home, and got most of the way through it, and then teamed up with a friend of ours to kind of put the finishing touches on it. So it started out like probably 2010.
Yeah, it's probably almost
Something like
10 years
that, or
old.
2000, 2011, something like that. And then that version of it, I think, made its sort of world debut when we did that Day Trotter session in Austin.
Right.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Iowa, Day Trotter's from Iowa.
Yeah, that's right.
Started in Iowa.
No
Yes.
kidding.
Yep.
All right. Also, what's the dynamic like when you're writing a song? When you come up with a song, is it instantly in your mind, I think this would be good for the brothers, or solo record? Like, how do you kind of differentiate that?
I don't really have a metric for that. It's because the way that these projects have developed is like, Let It Lie happened because that was the project that we were working on.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the songs. We had a mission. We're going to make a record. We're going to release it. So we wrote songs for that. Then we took our hiatus, and I was talking to my manager and was like, hey, what do we do? How do we shift gears? Because I want to keep working. And he said, well, if you're interested in going solo, then we need to release a record. So then it was like, okay, all hands on deck. I got to write enough songs for at least an EP. So Dave and I wrote some songs together. I went to Nashville and wrote a couple songs with some buddies.
That was Whiskey?
That was Whiskey. Mm-hmm. Then that became Whiskey. And then Hindsight was kind of a concept record where I teamed up with my drummer and producer, Roman Clark, and we wrote virtually everything except for one tune, which is Forgiveness. We wrote together with the purpose to go to that record. Mm-hmm. So there's it's always been by the project.
Yeah.
When I start a song idea, though, nowadays, there is a bit of a dialogue in my head going like, I wonder, do I bring this to Dave, or is this something that I finish on my own? Because the music that I've been making on my own nowadays is actually starting to take a bit of a departure from the sound that the two of us make together. So I think it's becoming a little clearer now. Mm-hmm. Like this, if I make another solo record, this will go there.
Right.
This tune is called "Got to Be You," and it's the first single off of our most recent record, which is called 87, Brothers Landreth 87. Yeah. Got to be. She got a hand in my pocket, and she walks with a swing. Oh, my baby, she gives me that old school thing. And now she don't mind if the whole world stares. She's so fine, it just ain't fair. She's so fine, and it just ain't fair. Tell me, what can I do? And she got to be you. When she called me in the nighttime, talking sweet and low, oh, my heart skips a beat, oh brother, don't you know? When she kisses and hugs me, makes me wanna sing, yes it does. She got a shiny kind of love like a diamond ring, shiny kind of love like a diamond ring. Oh, tell me what can I do? She's the only one, yeah. I'm held, this is true. I've come undone, honey. It's got to be you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When she called me in the nighttime, talking sweet and low, well, my heart skips a beat, brother, don't you know? When she kisses and hugs me, makes me wanna sing. She got a shiny kind of love like a diamond ring, shiny kind of love like a diamond ring. Tell me what can I do? She's the only one. I'm helpless, it's true. Well, I've come undone. Honey, honey, it's got to be you. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about gear and do like a little mini rig rundown, shall we?
Okay.
All right. So first, we want to say thanks to Joel and the people at Chase Bliss for sponsoring today's thing, and we are going to be giving away a mood. This specific one. You want to hold it?
I do.
We're going to be giving that away. We're going to talk about it because you have one on your board. But if you click the link below somewhere down here, you'll be able to find out information about how to enter to win this very mood.
Get some stuff. Get some stuff.
In
get
post,
some stuff.
we'll zoom in on this, and then we'll like heavy metal. No, all right, never mind. Moving on.
All right, so thanks, Joel and Chase Bliss. So let's talk about first, Joey. This Gold Top people, I've probably seen you play in a bunch of videos.
Yeah, this is built by my friend Alex Sorokin in Edmonton, Canada, and it started off as I played a 54 at Carter in Nashville, and flipped over the price tag and was like, whoa. And it actually wasn't like compared to some of the guitars that you could buy there. It was actually pretty reasonable, but still very unreasonable for me because I'm broke. So, but I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I had played one of his guitars when I was passing through Edmonton a few months before, and I didn't realize that it wasn't vintage when I played it because I didn't look at the headstock, and I just picked it up, and I was testing out pedals, and I said to the store owner, like, what's the coolest guitar you got in the shop right now? And he said, oh, try this. And I played it, and I went, oh, what year is it? And he was like, 2018. It's like, what? I looked at the headstock and was like, the hell is this? And says, yeah, there's this guy here in town, builds these guitars like sort of one by one. And anyway, so I reached out to him and said, would you consider sort of teaming up on a build with me? Because I could get a lot of the details of that guitar from my friend Zach, who from Mythos Pedals, who was working at Carter, could take some measurements because it was really special. And initially, Alex doesn't build guitars for people. He just builds what he wants to build, and then he sells them. And he was kind of like, so yeah, normally I say no, but I actually just listened to your record and I really like it, and what the hell, let's do it.
And he's like from your town, right?
No, but he's from Western Canada.
Okay.
So we are sort of prairie people, but yeah, he's from Edmonton, which is like a 17-hour drive northwest.
Oh, still in Canada.
Still in Canada, yeah. Canada's a big place. So we just started talking, and it took him about I think a year, and he finished it on my birthday, unbeknownst to him. It was like he texted me and was like, guitar's done. I was like, well, happy birthday to me. And then we were playing a show with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, and I flew him in on Aeroplan points. Plug to Aeroplan. Thanks for that, Aeroplan. Can you guys put in like a little ding?
Sure.
Okay. I'm getting carried away with creative editing. And then so he brought it in, and I started playing it, and I haven't put it down since. But it's, cool things about it is like he slaved over the recipe for the paint, and he worked forever and ever and ever to get it right, and it wasn't quite looking like the old gold tops that he had worked on. And then somehow he found this ancient article from the 50s where somebody was like interviewing people with interesting jobs, and they were interviewing this lady from the Gibson factory, and her job was painting the Les Pauls. And they said, so in your average day, what do you do? And she went, well, I start by this. And then she walked through her process, and he was able to glean from that interview one of the steps that he was missing. And so
There we go, and this is where we're at.
This is where we're at. It looks really, really good.
And he tastefully relicked it. It didn't get nutty.
No, it didn't get nutty, and a lot of this that you see is me. Like all this is me. The finish cracking is him, but he did he does such a he worked on a lot of old guitars as a repair guy. So one thing that he did is whenever he got an old guitar in, he would take note of where where the normal wear would be. So like things like on the heel, that is really common, the back of the headstock, that kind of thing. So it's not like he's just kind of going like whack, whack. It's kind of like where the normal places where guitars wear and stuff. Anyway, I can't sing his praises enough.
And a lot of people know you use heavy strings.
Yes.
Because you tune down to C, open C. But I will say, I got to play this guitar a little bit before we started. You have a 19 on top, which for some people, just the mere mention of that would cause anxiety and stress.
Night
Cold
sweats.
sweat.
Yeah, exactly. Not as rough as one would think.
No, it's not.
I mean, you're not playing David Gilmour licks on it, but
Right.
it's not like painful, let's say.
No, you're not. I'm not bending a tone and a half.
Yeah.
Ever.
On purpose. So let's. So
I
you
often
brought,
do accidentally, though.
so you brought a bunch of other guitars. Let's swap one out here
Okay.
and see what we have next. I'm just gonna pick one at random here.
Yep.
Let's swap this one out. So, the Seafoam Green Sir.
Yes.
So what's the history about this one?
This is a guitar I got from those guys right before I made whiskey. Actually, when I was living in Toronto at the time. I'm back living in Winnipeg now, but when I flew home to start the sessions for that record was when I got this guitar. So it's all over whiskey, and I toured with it really hard for a lot of that time, and it hasn't sort of been in the guitar rack for a while, but it's coming back out for this tour.
Yeah. Let's hear a little bit of it.
Okay. Sorry. Gotta figure out where. Yeah.
Do you find with different scale lengths, do you adjust the string gauge a little bit, or are you pretty much?
This actually has 10s on it right now, which is pretty no, it's not regular for me. But I don't know. Like my Sorokin and the Collings both have the same gauge strings. I have another Sir Classic S at home that has the same gauge strings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't really mess with that. To me, sometimes I pick up a guitar and go, I need to adjust this. It doesn't quite feel right. But it's not really. I don't really go by the scale length. Although maybe there's something to that. But yeah. Anyway, so I lent this to my friend Bucky, he was actually doing a tribute show to David Gilmour and needed an S.
Doing Animals by Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
The whole record.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he needed an S-style guitar and called me and said, "Can you help?" I said, "Yeah, sure. What kind of strings do you use? I'll set it up for you." He said, "Oh, I use 10s." So I set it up with 10s, and when I got it back, I was like, "This feels great."
Right.
I mean, it's a little tough to play slide on because I'm pretty heavy-handed with my left hand.
I was going to ask that even though the scale length, the feel has to be pretty different. I mean,
It is, yeah. And I mean, like, I have to lighten up. If I was playing the way I normally do, it would just be like all frets.
All frets.
Yeah.
All frets.
But I play this on the more delicate tunes, and so it works out really nice.
So like tonight's show, where would this pop out at?
Master Plan is the song that I play it on, and also a tune off our old record, Let It Lie, and I'm the Fool is what I play this guitar on. Yeah.
Dig it. So one thing is you brought in part of your rig as far as amps go.
Yep.
And then we loaned you some to kind of flesh it out here.
Yep.
So you're known for kind of playing two rocks. You have the Bloomfield Drive. I reviewed this last year, I think it was. Very good amp. Really enjoyed playing it. Super amp, yeah. So tell us kind of what you've learned about. Now, and we're doing the wet-dry thing.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So the two rock is, which side is the two rock?
The two rock's the dry side.
The dry side. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's got reverb on it, but none of the effects go to the two rock.
Got it. So you do kind of effects and no effects, basically.
Yeah,
right?
I love that band, No Effects.
What's your favorite record?
Oh, yeah.
Heavy Petting Zoo.
Is that what it is?
That's actually what it's
So
called.
long and thanks for all the shoes.
So long, thanks for all the shoes.
That was a good one too.
That's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to No Effects, man.
Pump Up the Valium. That was also another great one.
These are just
Are
also
punk rock bands really good at? They're really good at album titling.
Absolutely.
Oh,
They're really good.
So good. And songs are hilarious. Like No Effects songs.
Or like
were,
Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Yeah.
They're
Come
great.
on.
I mean, yeah.
This is a whole era now of
A friend
my
of mine
childhood.
had a band he wanted to call Brent Perrin and the So-So-So-and-So's.
The so-so-so-and-so's.
Shout out to Brent Perrin Shifty. Yeah.
So we have the two rock for the dry side. That was great.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
Two rock for the dry side.
Yep.
We have a Victoria here.
Yep.
Which is what's that kind of serving as?
That's because ironically enough, my wet amp doesn't have reverb, so it's a 65 pre-reverb deluxe, and so I mounted the reverb tank from the Victoria into the base of the cabinet, and then so I use the reverb on the Victoria and the harmonic trem.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Dig it.
Yeah.
And then normally your other amp is a
65 deluxe.
65 deluxe.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is the record that the amp that I used pretty much exclusively for Let It Lie record. Yeah. So all the guitar tones on that record came out of that.
Cool.
Cool. This is another tune off of our record 87 that just came out September 27th that we are in on the road in support of. This is called Master Plan. Give me your hand and another chance. It's not fair the way I've been treating you these days. I just need time to sort it all out. I know that I'm no good to you this way. You've always seen right through this. You take me for what I am. It's as if you already knew this. It's as if you had the master plan. You know I struggle, I worry sometimes. This sadness might get the best of me. I shook the bottle, poured out the rest. The things I'm scared of most remain unseen. You've always seen right through this. You take me for what I am. It's as if you already knew this. It's as if you had the master plan. I wanna let you in. That's the hardest part, when closer is not close enough. But I am a stranger to my own heart, safe behind the giving up. I wanna be strong for you, in case you get lost. I could be your constant shining star. I want you to feel this love. I know it will not falter. It'll follow you wherever you are. You've always seen right through this. You take me for what I am. It's as if you already knew this. It's as if you had the master plan. Oh.
All right, let's move to another guitar.
'Kay.
Shall we? Let's keep it moving here. Let's do this one.
Oh, yeah.
So this is one I've seen you play a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell us how you kind of came across. I mean, Collings makes great stuff.
Oh,
I
such
mean,
good guitars. First time I went over to the UK, I met Mick Taylor.
The other Mick Taylor.
The other Mick Taylor of that pedal show fame. Not Mick Taylor played with
Stones.
Stones, yeah.
Little band.
Yeah, you might have heard of them, or maybe not. Whatever. Yeah, and he said I was kind of talking about wanting to get another guitar, and he said, well, I could probably connect you with the Collings guys. So he put me in touch with Doug Chandler, who is the rep over in the UK for Collings, who then put me in touch with Mark Althans from Collings. And this is the other guitar that I used to make Whiskey.
So is this and the Sir?
This and the Sir were the sort of heart and soul of that record. Yeah, and so it's got, this is the laminate top version, and it's got throwback SLE 101s, I think. So PAF style.
Yeah, let's hear a little bit of it. So this one sees action on what tunes?
This one I pick up at the front of the set, and I play the first couple tunes on this guitar. This is also, I use this guitar a ton on the new record on 87 as well. Yeah.
What song on the new record do you feel like best sums up the tone of this guitar?
Best sums up the tone of this guitar?
Yeah, like when you hear this song on the record, you're like, that's like, I have a guess, but.
I don't know.
Is it You Keep Letting Me Down?
Yeah, this is the guitar on You Keep Letting Me Down.
I was gonna say Sleepwalker.
It is on Sleepwalker. I cut most of the solos for the record on this guitar, except for Got to Be You. That solo was on a Sir Alt T.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
what'd you use on Good Love? Was it just the 12 string?
No, on Good Love it's just a lot of guitars.
Yeah, okay.
Which is kind of why I started playing the 12 string, just to kind of represent some of all the guitar parts on there. Which I don't actually think it does it, but it sort of brings another kind of cool thing to the vibe. But solo for that song was cut on this guitar.
Solo for Good Love?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What did you think that the song
Sleepwalker.
was? Sleepwalker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is also
That's
this
just a
guitar.
big wall of guitars.
It is a big wall of guitars. Yeah. Lots of guitars.
How many guitars on that track?
On that track?
More than 6?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, and Ariel Posen is also on the record.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which side he's on.
Do you
Left or
guys
right.
really split them up when you do that?
Well, on this record we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I mean we didn't mix it. It was mixed by Jakir King, and
He's great.
oh man, he's so good. He's so good. If we were on that pedal show, I would just be honking the horn
Yes.
incessantly, and then you'd have to ask me to leave. Yeah, he and it was when we first got the mixes back. It was like he just panned us, and it was just like, oh. And at first I wasn't sure that I loved it, and then I listened again. It was like, it's perfect. It's it's what you would hear on stage.
Yeah.
And so I can't remember who's on which side, but he plays the solo on that tune, and I don't remember which guitar he used. I think he used his Sir Classic S, but he plugged into my dad's got a 78 Silverface Super, and he plugged directly into it and just cranked it up. It was sweet.
All right, finally, let's look down here. And speaking of Chase Bliss,
I know, right?
You seem to have,
I've got
most
some
of the stuff on there. So it looks like you're using a MIDI kind of based setup.
Yes.
With these. So kind of walk us through generally what kind of the signal path is.
Yeah, so on my big board I use the G2, the Gig Rig G2. On this board I'm using the Morningstar stuff. It's so killer, small, really easy to program as long as you understand MIDI. So under the hood here I've got the ML5, I can never remember the model name, and then the Mythos High Road, baby, High Road Mini. And so this thing just sort of controls all the sounds.
And so do you program the Morningstar on a song-by-song basis?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do for this show. I've also got a couple of sort of default scenes that just sort of have some regular sounds in them. But for these shows, because I've got a lot of specifically timed delays and stuff like that, so I've got all the presets saved, which is one of the many great virtues of the Chase Bliss stuff is just being able to save sounds.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And recall them quickly, even if the knobs have been bumped.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So probably the pedal that most people don't know exactly what it does is the mood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you walk us through what the mood does? I know we're actually reviewing the Dark World right now.
Oh, cool.
So that you'll check that review out in Premier Guitar soon. But tell us what people, if they were to win said mood,
What could they do with it?
what could they do with it?
Well, shoot, Jason, I'm so glad you asked. I don't really know what mood does. No, I'm kidding. So it's kind of like
I think you might know what it does, but does anybody really know all that it does?
No, and the thing with the Chase Bliss pedals is the second that you kind of get the main panel figured out, then the dip switches in the back
It's like, sorry,
Well-
everything you know is wrong.
will take you to another place. Yeah, and I feel the need to address the dip switches because people are just like, oh, I don't get it. The dip switches are for assigning the right-hand side of the dip switches when you're looking down at the pedal are for assigning knobs to an expression pedal. And the dip switches on the left-hand side of the pedal are, instead of having an expression pedal, there's an LFO in there that you can assign as an expression. So you can set the LFO to wiggle these knobs for you, and then when you enable that mode, the mix knob then adjusts how fast or how slow it goes. And then there's another dip switch you can select for if it wiggles the knob from up to down or from down to up. So that's really, like, I feel like there's a lot of people who are just like, I don't know what the hell any of that stuff does. That's what it does. To me, and it's really cool. I don't take advantage of the dip switches a whole lot, but so mood is like it's always listening to what you're doing.
It's always
It's like Big Brother.
It's listening to us right now.
Because even when you were messing with it beforehand, even David is like, what was that?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So like if I play something, so it's
Like a freeze type thing?
yeah, but it'll. Oh, this must be in. So then the clock is basically the sample rate. So you can adjust the sample rate, which will adjust the pitch, and I think it always moves in increments of fifths.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of the crux of it there. I think that was, I don't remember which mode that was in, but if it's in tape mode, which is basically like imagine a tape recorder. So now what you have is the modify knob, depending on which mode you're in here, will do different things. So the modify knob is now the direction and the speed of the tape. So if we set it around here, I think is, yeah. So that's forward and normal. Normal. That's double speed. And then 4 times. Half speed. And then half speed in reverse. Full speed reverse. Yeah?
Double speed reverse.
Yeah. And then in this mode, in the tape mode, the, I can't read that, length knob sets the stutter. So you can kind of create little rhythms out of it.
So what would you use something like that in a brother set?
I don't use it a ton in the Brothers set. I use it a lot more in my solo stuff. But off the top of the show, I will set like kind of a pad, and our keyboard player is doing something, and then I just get this thing kind of going. I use the Morningstar to control it. So I've got it set up. The Morningstar's killer, by the way. Each knob you can sort of set it to do different things. So I've got it set right now. So when I turn on the mood button, which is preset E, if I hold it and play, and then release it, it turns the pedal on. And then I've got preset F to adjust the clock knob. You know.
Oh, man.
And that's the right-hand side.
You could just get lost in that for
and
hours.
I do, yeah. I have the modify knob set to do kind of behave the same way. So if I tap and hold, or double tap and hold, or just single tap, it sort of sets the knob. I'm using the PC or control change to set the knob to different places.
Got it.
Then the left-hand side is more the ambient stuff. So there's a reverb, there's a delay, and then I can't read the other one. Slip mode, and slip is basically like a pitch shifting delay. So I use the pitch shifting delay at the end of my song Whiskey. Oh, come on. Yeah. But then the left-hand side is also affected by the clock.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's a lot of...
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
And really, you know, it's definitely a tool to inspire creativity. I don't... It's the thing I like about it is that I don't always know what it's going to do.
It could be like instant Radiohead at some point.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes, like, the funnest thing about it is sometimes I go to set up like a little loop and it doesn't work, and it forces me to react to it in a certain way to go like, oh, abort mission.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, because you know, when you're doing what we do, it's really easy to get in a rhythm of things, and things can get stale really quick. So something like this just injects a little bit of like, who knows what's gonna happen? Good luck.
Dig it.
So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your day to come. I'm gonna have you play us out with some ambient noise there.
Sweet.
Joey, if you don't mind.
No.
Where can people go online to find out more about your tour, your new album, everything else?
TheBrothersLandreth.com.
BrothersLandreth.com.
That's right.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Keep an eye out for the Brothers Landreth, and they come to your town.